How did I start freelancing as a complete fresher? Let's finally answer this question in this video. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanishka and I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, I'm going to be answering one of the most asked questions that I've had, and something that I've not answered before is how did I start freelancing as a complete fresher? So I'm going to share with you my absolute honest unfiltered story step by step. Let's get straight to it, but before that, if you're new to this channel, then please take 1 second and hit the subscribe button. If you've ever liked my work even a teeny tiny bit, then please support me and help me grow. If you're already a part of this channel, then thank you so much for joining me in my journey. I hope we stay together till the end of time. So, this journey, freelancing journey of mine, actually started a little bit, the base, the foundation, I would say, started when I was in college itself. So, I was doing BAF, accounting and finance, BCom in accounting and finance. However, I was always into college events. मतलब जितने भी college events होते थे, I used to always be a part of it, like always, right? And I used to always be in the celebrity management department, more or less, because I used to love doing that, or the management department. Now, through those events, I built some networks, one of which was also Mr. Rajkundra, right? So now, cut to my college got over. Initially, I was not doing anything. I had gotten a job from Deutsche Bank from college itself, but I rejected it because I was very unsure कि मुझे actually करना क्या है. And that's when I gave CFA a try because a lot of people were doing it. I'd already thought of it, and also because I felt like it might be the right thing to do. So I started giving my CFA, but I did not take up the job because I knew that I can't study and work together, and also because I wanted to know if I really want to, do something in it. I wasn't very sure, like, the story of how I started my CFA. If you don't know it, I'm going to add the link in the related description. Now, so I didn't do anything for the first 7-8 months because I was giving my CFA exam. I remember June, July, my college had ended 2018 mein, and my exam was in December 2018. So I didn't do anything till almost Feb, till my results came out and everything. I was pretty like level 2 bhi de dungi. And then come February 2019, I started getting a little bit FOMO because I saw everybody around me start working and start earning, like people my age, my friends basically. And मेरे को थोड़ा सा बुरा लगने लगा था कि oh my god, what if I'm left out, and what if this will happen, what will that will happen. Also because I knew that I wanted to give CFA level 2, I kind of started enjoying CFA. So I knew that, at least all kuch nahi to as an education I want to complete it. But I was like, how will I work and do this? But then I was like, you know what, everybody's doing it, let's try. And my CFA level 2 was scheduled June 2020 because I wanted a minimum of 6-7 months, 6 to 8 months I wanted for CFA level 2, and that was not possible back then because the CFA exam level 2 and level 3 only used to happen in June. So since my results came out like mid Jan, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna give it in June. I want to give it next June because I want at least 7 to 8 months, which I knew I wouldn't get. So, anyways, I knew, so I was like, okay, maybe I have time. We are sitting on January 2019, and my exam is in June 2020. Sorry, February 2019, and the exam is in June 2020. Let's see what if we get a job. Let's at least work till October, November. That was the plan. So I started looking out for jobs. Initially, I was only looking at finance jobs because I was like, if I've studied finance, I should do finance. Even at that point, I was not very clear what I want to do. I think a lot of us as freshers are just exploring. We don't really know what we want to do. I've seen so many people switch their careers even after 3-4 years of working in an industry. It's almost surreal. So I was also not sure. I was studying finance and I was pretty good at it. So I was like, okay, let's do finance. However, I am always inclined to Bollywood and media and management. I used to do it a lot in college. So I was like, okay, let's start searching finance jobs. And I got one call because now I was searching it on my own without any networking. So obviously it was a little bit tougher. So I got one job in this place called Valorum Advisors. It was in Lower Parel in Bombay. Now it is, I think, shifted to Nariman Point. I did not take it because honestly it is very far for me. It seemed very unusual कि मैं कैसे वहाँ तक जाऊँगी. Also, I did not really appreciate certain policies. Like, it was not something that was going down well with me. So I rejected the job in spite of getting it, although it was a good role. But I rejected it because logistically it was not fitting well with me. And I said कि ठीक है रहने दो, we'll find another one. Then there was another finance job that I had applied for जो मुझे नहीं मिला. If you want to know that story, and मुझे नहीं मिला because I was giving CFA level 2. It's a story in itself. Let me know if you want to know it, and I'll make another video on that. Anyways, then I kind of got a little disheartened after the first rejection, because as such मुझे कभी job rejection ऐसे मुंह पे नहीं मिला था, but this was like one of the first. So I got a little disheartened and I was like, you know what, let me also look at media and such jobs. So I started searching for media jobs. Not that वो भी immediately मिला. Obviously, I got it a little bit later. But in that process, काफी months निकल गए. Like this, I started looking for a job pretty much mid March. I would say, like, since I started getting calls for interviews mid March, April, and this process went on till like September. So it took quite some time. So September tak I got a media job. Now before that, like in that period itself, something happened that I kind of reconnected with Mr. Rajkunda. He had an event. There was something happening in my college also, so they kind of contacted me. So I was like, okay, if the college is contacting me, why not I do this as a freelancing thing, as my own thing. I was not even thinking of it as a freelancing thing. I was like, let me do it as my own thing. If I'm being called back to do something again, something that I did in college, just do the same thing. So there might be something in that skill. So I wanted to enhance that skill. Sorry, college had called me. So I'd gone back to college and I had done that for them. I'd organized the entire event. Then another college had called for me. I'd done that as well. Then another regular event had happened. I'd organized that event. And I thought that, maybe events will be my thing. I didn't take it full time because by that time I did get a media job. So I joined the media company for 2-3 months. But I was like, you know what, let me just see. जब जब कोई आता था ऐसे मैं करती थी. It's not going fine. And ऐसे करते करते it became almost Jan Feb of 2020. So many months had passed. Now we came to February 2020, and that is when Mr. Rajkundar's team had directly contacted me because now they wanted to do an event. They had an app coming up in colleges, and they knew that I had that network, so they contacted me, and I did events for them. I did 2 events for them. And somehow that kind of became a base. I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just grow this kind of a thing. And it was like a freelancing thing because it was not really a business. It was more like, little bits. It was not necessarily that I was organizing the entire event. There were events where I was just like, okay, I'm getting the venue done. So a very, very small bit of it. Anyways, Mr. Rajkunda had done the events. We had more events scheduled, but unfortunately COVID hit, and these were supposed to be only offline events. And COVID hit and everything came in a standstill. My CFA exam got postponed 4 times, and I didn't realize कि 4 times postponed होगा. I think none of us knew how bad COVID is gonna be. So I didn't take up any job at that time. I didn't take up any freelancing projects because थे ही नहीं. At that time I was only doing events, right? So it was like, okay, let's wait के चक्कर में बोलते बोलते we came to 2021. 1 year had passed, and by the time I reached 2021 June, a lot of my friends who I was doing CFA level 2 with, who had left their jobs and all, had left CFA only. They're like, you know what, we don't want to wait anymore. This is becoming too much of a drag and we've lost interest. So they started dropping out. And that really got to me. That really started demotivating me that, you know what, how will I do it? Because उन लोगों की देखा देखी में तो मैंने किया था, right? Although it's not their fault, but still. And I was like, how is this going to work out? What's going to happen? And they started getting into jobs and started making money. So I really got in a bad space. And my exam was happening in November. Now it's like exam happening in November, and June onwards I was in such a horrible space because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, you know what, even I'll apply for a job. I'm gonna give the exam, but I will apply for a job. And I started applying to things that I felt would be very light-hearted. So I think I applied for very media-related jobs because I thought that that is something that I might get faster. And at that point, my only goal was I want to also make money in hand. I want to see some money because everybody around me is making it. There was literally no other agenda in life. Being very honest, it's not a good agenda to have, but that was my mindset. I just wanted money. So anyway, I started applying for jobs in June. I started getting calls in August. ऐसे होता है. That time gap is always there because when you're applying through LinkedIn, it's not necessarily that everybody's gonna get a call. Also, applying in media, doing CFA, तो थोड़ा problem हो गया था. So I had applied to this one company, I won't take name, as a content head or something like that. And I had given the interview with the founding team and everything. It was a very good interview. It was a virtual, that obviously because COVID period. But they were like, okay, we'll get back to you. Now, at the same time, I got called for another company. Now, this was a work from office company, and this company contacted me mid-September. This was for a performance marketing role, and they specifically wanted kids who are people who were doing CFA or investment banking because analysis was involved. So this was more aligned to what I wanted to do. But till that entire interview process got over, it was already end of October, and the joining date was 1st November for this. And I was like, you know what, can I please join from 1st December because in 26 days I have my CFA level 2 exam. I won't be able to come to office. That was also like a travel. In Bombay, anybody knows traveling takes a lot of time. So I was like, how will I study? Now it's only 26 days. I need to give my best. And they were not willing to give me a holiday or anything. So because of that, unfortunately, I had to let go of that company. Also, honestly, they were not paying very, very well. So it was anyways a little put off because logistically, I would have burnt money to go to that company rather than make money. But anyway, it didn't work out. And that honestly really, really hurt me. Because at that point, I was like, क्या हो रहा है मेरी लाइफ के साथ, कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, कुछ नहीं मिल रहा. And at that time, even events वाला जो मैंने थोड़ा बहुत start किया था was completely off, right? Because there was nothing happening. And I didn't even know how to get into freelancing. And that's when somebody who I knew was freelancing, and my mother also encouraged me, saying that, what, why don't you try? Jin companies may have applied, call them and tell them that, instead of taking me as a full time, take me as a freelancer a few hours. And in COVID period, that had kind of boomed because it was difficult to absorb long term employees. So I had called the company who had applied, who had done a very good interview for in August, and they had not yet gotten back. Like, they had gotten back, they're like, we'll get back to you. We're just waiting for something. So they had already liked me, but there was some logistical reasoning from there and that they couldn't hire me, but they didn't want to let me go also. So what I did is I got the founder's number directly, and I had a conversation with him, and he told me his situation. Ki there's that project for which we wanted to hire you, and we really liked you, but that project is going on hold, and I don't know now how to take you. And I'm like, okay. Then I told him my situation, that I got a job here, but I cannot take it, and I have my exam. He knew I had an exam, so that's one thing I really liked about this person, because he appreciated it. And I told him that I can't anyways take a full time job now because we're sitting like mid October. It's already too late for everything if I want to give my exam. Why don't you take me as a freelancer? I just pitched the idea to him, and I told him, take me as a project manager freelance. I told him, what, I've done CFA. I've been good at management. I always manage events, and I've done my small own thing. So management is kind of my thing. Also, CFA teaches you discipline analysis, so I can analyze things. And in a media company, we feel that it's only creative aspects. No, if you're a project manager, you're even analyzing budgets or negotiating deals. It's like the whole business strategy, business operations thing. He thought for a while, and then he gave me the project. It was a 1 month project where I had to commit 6 hours a day. Now 6 hours never happens, it always exceeds, but 1 month ka tha, I remember. And I joined, and that's honestly how my freelancing journey started. After that, I gave my exam. There were some pauses. Then again, that same company contacted me for another project somewhere around Feb. It was a freelancing project only, but they knew that I'm a freelancer, so we continued to that. That was like a 2 month project. So we did it then. Then ऐसे करते करते, I won't say that I've done too many projects, but I've done a few projects here and there, usually using my own network or people who I know. I just contact them and I tell them, I'm doing this. Do you want to do it? Now, why don't I do it so extensively yet? Because like I said, I'm not very good at studying and working together, so thoda mess hoga. Also, when I did not clear my CFA level 3, I was like, I'll get a job, and I got a job again in a media company as a manager. But for some reasons that didn't work out, so I had to leave. It's such a sad history with my job profile. I don't know how to even convince you guys that it's not my fault. Kismat bolo. But anyways, whatever it is, I had to leave that. I worked there for quite some time, actually, almost 5 months more maybe, and I had to leave it, unfortunately. And that's when I started YouTube full time. And I was like, what, leave it, let's do this full time. Also, at that time, through my networking, I got one freelancing project. So I was like, okay, that will fund my money, because I think financial independence is very, very important to me. It is important that I'm making a certain amount of money, or I have a certain amount of money kept. That's why when I say that I want to pay for my CFA level 3 on my own, it's very tough, because I've not really worked consistently. And freelancing, there's an advantage that you have flexibility. You can get multiple clients. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you get paid very well. But there is also the uncertainty कि आज है कल नहीं है, एक महीना project अगले महीने क्या है. And what if you're studying like me, then you can't even take up the project next month, because people don't understand. Even freelancing, they take it like a job only, especially if it's Indian clients. Anyways, so I took that client on and off. Even now I took one client, so that's how I did it. Now a lot of people ask me, so how do, but all my freelancing projects thereafter, like from October 2021, have been in project management. So project management includes handling business operations, negotiations, managing the team, whatever the business is. So when I was in the media company, whatever it was, sending pictures and everything, you need to know the business very well, right? Because your point is to grow the business. That's what a project manager does in very upper per se. And the next one, I did it with an HR consultancy. So again, I needed to know a lot of HR things, which is how I make all my HR related videos, because I really, really went in depth. So that's what I did. And now I know a lot of you ask me that, what about finance freelancing as a fresher? Is it possible? Is it not possible? Now, in my opinion and what I've seen, I don't think you will get core financing roles as a fresher. Personal opinion, I'm not very sure on this. The reason is very simple. Nobody will give you their money if they don't see experience in you or something that can back your point, right? Maybe you'll get data entry related freelancing jobs as a fresher, but core finance fresher roles as a freelancer is very, very tough. If you're very good at something, say suppose you're good at modeling, you can put your profile up in Freelancer, Upwork, and put a very, very, very low quote. Try to pitch yourself that way. If you want to know how would I possibly pitch myself in a freelancer.com or somewhere like that, let me know. I'll make a separate video on that. But that's my point. So if you're looking at freelancing jobs as a fresher, I don't think you should look at core financing also, anything that is too technical, right? Especially if you're applying not through network. If I was not applying through a slight networking, even I may not have gotten that first push. So I was lucky that I gave that interview in that company, and that boss liked me, I liked him, that vibe just struck, and that project didn't happen, so he couldn't take me as a full time. And then I had the idea through my mom, of course, that let's do freelancing, and then I just had the guts that I called him and said, take me as a freelancer. So that just somehow worked, but it's not necessarily that it always works. Like I said, freelancing is great, it gives you flexibility, but it also gives you a lot of insecurity. Now, just a disclaimer, if any of you guys are going to be asking me in the comment section how much money did I make, please don't ask that, because I'm not going to be answering it. It's a little uncomfortable to speak about. There have been projects where I've made good money, there have been projects where I've made very average money. So it's a mixed bag of both, right? So yes, काफी लंबा video हो चुका है. I'm gonna end it. I just wanted to share my story of how I did it. I'm not really telling you tips and tricks so much. I told you the freelancing bit, the finance bit, but if there's anything else that you want to know in depth, let me know in the comment section and I'll answer it. And like I said, बहुत लंबा video guys, so let's end it. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Until then, keep sparkling and definitely keep learning.